My biggest thing is what's wrong with the women and our society that you're going to call people misogynist, sexist, yet you're falling for this? Up to you. So Marissa, tell us a little bit about yourself to the audience, who you are, what you do, what's your jam?
Well, that's kind of a loaded question, but to gather it all in a little box for you, I am a photographer right now. I met Olga doing photography on one of her events, which was super fun. And other than that, I'm a server, bartender on the weekends, but I love art. I love movies, even though I don't watch movies, which we'll get into. But I don't even know why I bought it. After I was starting to read it, I was just like, what am I doing? But this is the book we're talking about, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, you want to tell the story about how we even came to talk about that book?
Oh my God, yeah. So we did like a little preview, like a little test of this little podcast. And I had a random book sitting in the background. She was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, it's like whatever. And then when I lifted it up, like Steve Harvey's little head was peeking out. And I was like, oh my God, but this book though. And she was like, oh my God, is that whatever? And I was like, how do you know? Like, yes. So like, we were like, we have to talk about this book. But yeah, the only reason I bought it was because I was having like relationship issues. And I was like, yeah, Steve Harvey will fix my problem. That's not what real guys.
And I told you, right, that when he released that book, because I bought it when he released it. So my part of the story is I was telling you, I bought it because just the title alone, I was just, wasn't offended. I wasn't offended. It's not like,
you think like a man. Yeah.
Yeah.
What men really think about love, relationships, and commitment.
Like somebody might say, that's sexist, right? But for me, it was about, I'm sick and tired of women having be the ones to fix themselves, that women have to be the one to catch the guy, to figure them out, to change.
So like,
that's what got me from that book.
Understand how they work. It's not up to them to understand how we work, like as if we're some complicated being that's you can't figure out, but men are just like, have sex with them and make them happy and you're good. Like that's basically what like I feel like the whole book's gonna be about.
Oh, really? Give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab the book real quick because I actually wrote notes in it and I actually had it on my desk and then
Okay. I did fold a page. I want to see if I can find the spot.
Before we go any further, I want to make sure it's very clear that this is not an attack towards this individual. I don't care who it is.
I literally bought it because I was like, oh, he's funny. He's a funny guy.
Exactly. I actually like him as a comedian. I like him as an entertainer. God bless. But it's funny because when he came out with this book, you know me, I'm all about intuition. And I was like, it wasn't the title, like nothing sexist, because to me, I don't play those games. I'm all about facts and just let's pull the truth out. Okay. How is this person an expert? And I thought to myself, and he's a man telling a woman how to act. Now, regardless, I had a feeling. I'm like, this guy, I don't think he should have wrote this book. I'm thinking, this guy is not happily married. 4 months later, he announces after the launch of this book that he's getting a divorce. Second time. So I go, and don't get me wrong, that's fine. Because the more relationships you have, the more wisdom you do acquire, hopefully, right? That you grow. But with this, I was like, I'm not buying this because the title itself, Act Like a Lady. A man's going to tell me how to act like a lady. It's just wrong in every level. Nothing against him. You see what I mean? It's like, it's like, this is the reason why not the reason why I became a coach, but one of the main issues that I get from my clients is exactly this: relationships, whether they're male or female. And I don't say to them, act like a lady. I don't, if it's a guy, I might say, hey, act with confidence. I don't say act like a man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like putting that label on like what's the word I'm looking for? The like action of acting like blank. Like don't call it acting like a lady, thinking like a man. Like call it acting confident, think positive, like,
or understand men. Like remember that book
Yeah.
Men Are from Mars, Women Are from
Yeah.
Venus. That was a very successful book, and not everybody agreed, but most people did.
I feel like that's basically what he was trying to do, but he just dumbed it down.
And again, why think like a man? Why didn't he write a book, dudes? Because listen to him. It's like, and you're right. I'm with you, by the way. I did not read the book. I read like a couple inserts, and a friend of mine, she read it, and she was like, "Let me see. I want, you know, I want to give you
so
my."
I don't even want to trash it because I have no right to trash it because I read like 5 pages.
Me either. But the title in itself, and again, this was a long time ago. This came out in 2009,
which is a long time ago. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a whole different culture. But even then, if it struck a chord with me, and it wasn't about being sexist, it's this guy, and look at it, what, he's divorced now 4 times now. Like,
I don't keep up with him.
Like, if he's such a great dude, and he's so amazing that he knows how to tell you how to act like a lady, and he's never been a lady, and he's had so much success in his personal relationships. He's been able to get any woman he wanted, and every woman that's ever met him wanted him, fell in love with him, and they never divorced him. I mean, and what's wrong with our culture? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but my biggest thing is, what's wrong with the women and our society that you're going to call people misogynist, sexist, yet you're falling for this? Get it?
I feel like, and I think he wrote a second one too after this did well.
He did.
And I think it was like reversed or something. I don't know, the same kind of concept. But I did fold a page here. It was probably one of 3 pages I read, but I was saying in the beginning when we were first starting talking about this, that they're saying that women are these like men have to almost like dig into us and like figure us out, but like we can just read this book and understand men because they're that simple. This first sentence says, women are complicated creatures. You need stuff, lots of it, and you expect your man to provide it, even if you haven't explained what it is you need or want, yada, yada, yada. So like, why is it that we are the complicated ones? But yet there's this whole book about how to dumb yourself down and think like a man. Like, I feel like it's sexist in both ways.
Right. That's a good point. And you know, I love the fact that you and I have very different perspectives because we're 2 different generations.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I'm most interested in having this conversation. And not to mention how you said, or like we both said, the book came out in 2009, but yet he's had another one because it was such a bestseller. Was it a bestseller because he's on the cover?
Maybe.
What if somebody else wrote this? No. I 100%.
Well, like I said, my experience in the bookstore when I was buying this, I actually bought another book, which was the one in front of it that you pointed out the first time. And it was like written by like actual doctors and people who did like 10-year-long studies on relationships and stuff. So I was like, let me buy that one and like dive into that one. And then I just wanted like a lighthearted, like funny kind of thing, which is Steve Harvey in a sense. Like, he's hilarious. He's a funny dude. And he never takes anything too seriously. I feel like you're never seeing him do serious stuff. So I was like, let me get like a lighthearted, like, it's probably not that factual, but like, let's just see. Let's see the science perspective and then the comedian perspective. That's just kind of like more real digging into life, like fun, like in a comedic
in
sense.
A lighthearted way. I think that's perfect. I think that's legit reason to buy the book or to be interested in reading the book. But my whole thing is that I spent over 2 decades helping people love themselves to attract the right person who deserves them. And what I mean by not just that, I mean, every client comes with a different issue. I mean, some I'm like, look, get yourself together. Look at you. You're out of shape. You don't care what you eat, what you put in your mouth. Like, there's so many different ways of how to show yourself you love yourself, how to have higher standards, how to not settle, how to not think negative. I mean, there's just so many layers to this that I'm going, who cares about the dude? Because I have men with problems getting and finding and keeping women, and I have women. The exact amount, the same as the amount. The difference is it's culturally accepted for the woman to go fix herself. To go get a boob job, to go get anything done. And I'm going, I have done nothing to myself except for the fact that I love myself, and I will not date anybody that will not treat me like the way I treat myself, which is like a goddess.
Right. And a lot of people, you can't find a good person. If you don't love yourself, no one else can love you. And I will stand by that forever.
Thank you. That is the fact. I mean, let's just write a book about that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no, dude. And if you're so smart, why are you having all these divorces? And you're picking, oh, by the way, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your desktop.
Oh, I meant this was supposed to come up. So I did, browse a little bit this morning thinking that we might talk about it. So I didn't go too far into it. But here's, there's tons of people that, reviewed it. A lot of people, even like Amazon he's got great reviews on Amazon. And, but there's one girl that made this video, but I don't know if I pulled it up, but I would have to look at my history. I can also put the video I'm talking about in the description, the links below in the YouTube channel. But, she was much younger, so different generation. And she was saying, she thought it was pretty sexist, but she still gave it a try. She read it and she said that there was some golden nuggets in there. So with that being said, and you and I both said we didn't read the book, but even when we, flip through a page or two, there's definitely there's some stuff that's not bad. Like women should make the guy work for you, but not because it's a woman male thing.
Yeah.
Because go ahead.
I feel like this was written a while ago, so I feel like gender specific things weren't like super in pop culture, but now I feel like you can't even put a label on lady/man. Like it's all one collective thing.
Right. Well, unfortunately, that's not the case.
Not the case.
Well, when I was a kid,
2009, and still not now, but I'm saying definitely not in 2009.
It's just that at the end of the day, nobody's a cookie cutter.
Right. Yeah.
Not all women are the same. Not all men are the same. And I don't care what your identity is. Yeah. Every single human is absolutely unique. Every single one. So stop with the gender and the sex. Stop it. Stop with the age. Because if we don't eat, we die. Right? If we don't poop, we die. If we don't drink water, we die. Right? So there's things that we need as creatures, as beings to live. Okay. Let's just go. Here's how I look at it. I go from the basic and then I go to the next step. Now, what is it that you need on a secondary level besides food and shelter? Those basic human or animal living beings need. And it's love. It's connection. Yeah. So I don't even want to talk about, stereotyping people, whether it's sex, color, race, age. I don't give a shit. Tell me what kind of a person. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just said no one fits in a box.
Number one. And the thing is, when you can perfect being a good person and a loving person and a giving person and a compassionate person, then let's talk about your sex, gender, identity, race, whatever the hell your culture is. You get my point? And when I'm talking like this, I'm not like, I know I sound like I'm like combative, but it's just passion of that I'm frustrated with. At the end of the day, when I work with clients one-on-one, or even with my friends, this is what we come down to. But everyone, their ego, and people don't want to understand what the ego is. We can get into that too.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
But the fact that I pulled up this article. Steve Harvey opens up about his bad decisions and divorce. Okay, now what year is this? 2019. This article.
10 years after.
Years after this book, I guess. And by the way, if you look on Amazon, it actually says that they're going to make a movie on this book.
Oh God. I feel like that's worse.
So, I can put the link to this article as well if you want to take a look at it. But, they talk about a little bit of his background, which I already know because I've read into him about being homeless, when he was trying to be a comedian and make it happen. And God bless him. I think, I have much respect for this guy.
Yeah, same. Very successful dude.
Yeah. And he's funny, right? We both actually like his. But what was I seeing in here? I guess
what was the one girl saying that you said was like younger?
Oh yeah.
That there's just like the little gems. Is that what she said about it? Or was there more?
There she is, right here.
And if you ever see men in a group setting, I think that this is really like a man. And let me finish reading this little guilty pleasure. Up YouTube, Hello Bella here. In this video, I'm going to be doing a book review for you. So I recently finished reading this little guilty pleasure, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. And
I like that she called it a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, me too.
reference in the book. So I think that is one reason why I'm very conflicted about reviewing it. However, there's a lot of juicy information in here that I think is relevant, and I think that it will help women if they start to think about how the male ego is arranged and what matters to men and how men frame the way that they see women. I do apologize because I have a bit of a cold.
And I think she's very well spoken too. I like the way she's articulate. But here's the thing. And here's how, as a coach, what she's doing is she's trying to intellectualize, right? So if you look at her, I don't think she has an extensive amount of dating experience,
right?
Marriages, you know what I mean?
Right.
Again, I'm judging the book by its cover.
Right.
I could be completely wrong, no problem. But the fact that what she's literally saying is that she's intellectualizing it. So again, you're going to read this like a cookbook. You're going to make this recipe work. And that's impossible, which is the other reason I have a problem. Not with the title. And like we both said, we didn't read it. But you see what I mean? Like, she might be one of those people that are critical thinkers, but most people are not critical thinkers. Most people are buying this book. He is selling a lot of them and getting really good reviews. What does that tell you? That's what's concerning me. Not that he's had a successful book. God bless him. And, you know, I'm working on my book. So, and I hope, you know, people like it too, and that they get value out of it. But some of what's going to be in my book, or it's already that I've already written a few chapters on, is about this book, but just using this book as an example of me trying to say, stop trying to figure men out, because you can't even figure yourself out.
Exactly.
I mean, come on. Sorry.
Exactly. No, exactly. And like I said, no one fits in a box. No one, like you're not going to read this book and answer all the problems that you have. Like you'll get a different perspective. Sure.
Yes.
But that's not going to fix your problems. You have to like actively make that happen within yourself and then within your life in order for things to work out. You can't just like read a book and gain insight and be like, oh, men think like this, so he must be thinking this. Like that's just not how it works. People aren't that easy.
I agree.
No one's that easy.
And especially when they're young, because that's the other thing. It's like I would talk differently to somebody in their 20s than somebody in their 30s. I'm serious, because you don't have the level of maturity. So why would I waste my breath, and why would I waste your time?
And you're just in a different phase of your life too.
Right.
Different. Yeah.
But everybody, see, the thing is, it's the ego that gets women to want to buy this, because their ego wants to have control.
Yeah.
And, you know, we relate ego to somebody like this egotistical, egocentric, especially like the male, you know, type of energy, but that's not the case. We all are, you know, we're made to want to have power and have control and and dictate our outcomes. You know what I mean? We don't argue because we don't want to have control. We argue because we want to win, to have power. So, by the way, I didn't watch her whole video. I just watched like the first minute or two, and I thought about you, and I thought, oh, I wonder if we're going to talk about this.
So the first chapter that Steve writes is about what drives men. So he says men are driven by who they are, what they do, and how much money they make. So basically, he said this sums up.
Now, men are driven for their I can't even say it. I can't even say it. So, in no part does this guy have sex. His dick doesn't dictate anything he does.
That's funny that she says that in the first chapter, because the one I had open was chapter 3, and it says 3 things every man needs: support, loyalty, and the cookie. So,
I wonder if my little brother one day says to me, oh, no, don't. I'm like, dude, when's the last time you got laid? He's like, oh, no, don't worry, man. I got my cookies today. And I was like, oh my God, that's kind of cute. I never heard that. So it must be a male thing to say that.
Yeah. Like
I didn't know that. Or at least I mean,
at the end of the day.
I didn't know it was that known of a term.
Yeah.
Okay.
The more you know.
Right? So funny she says that. Do you see what I mean? So I'm glad we're having this conversation about this, because at first I was like, it's not like we're doing this because he's relative in the news right now, or we're trying to use his, you know, fame to make our point. I think it was meant to be, because I'm not sure if I don't mean to reiterate, but remember when we did have that serendipitous moment, that I'm like pointing at that, what's that? Right. And I'm like, oh my God. And it was not in my mind. It was not on your mind. Our conversation had nothing to do with this guy, this book, nothing. Right.
Right.
It was meant to be. And so I was like, even if we can talk about 1,000 things, right? This kept coming. And what I mean by I don't mean to be repetitive is that, remember, I saw this book or I heard of it or something, and I went to the bookstore and I didn't mean to buy it. I was going to return it. I was going to read it. I was going to take my notes, and I was so passionate that I wanted to make a video about this. If not, actually, that's a lie. I wanted to write a book just rebuttaling this entire book.
Yeah.
And I wrote notes and stuff, and I never did it. And my girlfriend was like, well, don't return the book. I want to read it too. I want to put my 2 cents into it too.
Yeah.
Okay. So I never returned it. And the only reason I haven't gotten rid of it or given it away is because I saying, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And isn't that weird that it's been over a decade? And then you and I just met each other recently.
I know. It just popped up.
And now you and I, man, we're going deep on this. I didn't even think we would go that far.
Right.
Go
It's
ahead.
more than like we literally did not read it, but it's like we're getting deep over like the topic of it. So it's cool.
Ego. You said ego. What do you want to talk about the ego?
I don't know. Well, that video, she said the word ego. And every time I hear the word ego, I think of Leos, because y'all got the
Leo
son
in the
of
house.
ego. Which I relate to, and I love that. So I don't know. I just want to kind of dive into like ego. What does that mean to you? Like, do you ever talk about that with your clients and stuff? Or
Yes, all the time. Well, first is my experience with ego is how I figured it out, obviously, because again, you can read all you want. And the same book I read 30 years ago, when I read it 10 years, 20, after I had some major catastrophe crisis, it sounded completely different. So again, you can understand it and you were like, wow, I'm so glad I got those wisdom, nuggets. But certain things, man, it's like when they say, when the pupil is ready, the master will appear. So even if you show up to class, if you're not ready to receive the information, you're not ready. It's not, you can't get mad at the person, because that happens to me. I've done it with my friends and my clients. I'm like, I can't go there with you. You're not ready. What do you mean? Just tell me. How'd you get there? I'm like, I'm telling you, your attitude is telling me you're not ready. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I never thought I had ego, because I've always been a very compassionate, loving, generous, caring person. I know I'm making myself sound like this great person, but no, that's really who I am at heart. Life has chewed me up and spit me out. The world has definitely showed me what happens when you are that kind of person. So then, of course, you become tough and you become a bitch and you become like self-protective. Then I went to the other extreme, being controlling. But again, at no moment did I realize I was ego. That's just survival at the time. When I finally lost everything for the last time, meaning I just couldn't take it anymore. You fall off the horse, you get back on, you fall off, and I couldn't do it anymore. I had enough, couldn't do it anymore. And next thing you know, and I'm simplifying this. Okay. This is exactly why I'm writing this in a book, because jumping the details is really jumping
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, exactly. So I lose everything. And then, you're angry and you feel sorry for yourself, or you go like the 7 stages of divorce. You go through all these stages of grieving. And you can only grieve. You only fall rock bottom when you fucked up really bad. Or your disappointment is so profound, right? The grieving, right? Say somebody that you love passed, you depending on the level and the depth that you love them is the pain you're going to feel in their absence. Everyone thinks, no, I did love him. No, I did love her. That's not true. And in fact, a great book, which fell into my lap right when I was losing it and I was trying to get back to life and to get out of bed and get a job and get out of the emotional, mental, spiritual hell I was living that I didn't want to live. So see what I'm saying? If we go down that rabbit hole, we can go for hours and hours down there. But to the point of your ego is I had to go through all this shit. We're talking like Hercules shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know, do you know anything about Hercules?
I've only seen the Disney movie.
Okay. No. I'm gonna have to put the link in the description, but like Google it, like look at the feats of Hercules, what he had to do, and why. Okay. So here I'm going through this hell to apparently get just to get air, I'm drowning, and just to get some air, I'm struggling because I'm combating the depression and everything that's saying, just give up. Don't you see? It's all bullshit. It's all rigged and it's not going to work for you. And blah, 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 but a little spark in my soul was like, well, if you don't have the balls or the cojones or the ovaries, the gall to kill yourself, then you have to live. Yeah. Which one, girl? Which one?
Yeah.
And because I think it does take a lot of, takes a lot of strength, I think, to take your own life, and there's an old Spanish saying that says one of the step of suicide is the bravest step of a coward, if that makes any sense. But not to confuse you with that, but like that you have to be that much of a coward is what the old saying says. And I understand it to a degree. And I think, again, anybody can listen to these proverbs or these sayings and they can rebuttal it all you want. But unless you've been in those shoes, do you really understand what you're reading? Like all the quotes that you read. So going back to the ego, and I didn't realize that the ego was the person you feel sorry about for yourself. Like when you feel sorry for yourself, have you ever thought of that? Did you ever thought when you got hurt that's your fucking ego? So so no matter how much I read about it, it wasn't the same as experiencing it and having to face yourself and go, I have ego? Yeah. I'm such a good person. I mean, you don't realize until you have obstacles, or again, you have parts of your journey that really question who you really are. And if you even go that far as to find out, oh, I got an ego. Oh, this is what ego is. Oh shit. I thought I knew what ego was. So that was, but look at all I went through to even get to that point. Yeah. So not to be repetitive, but there's no easy answer except for the fact that obviously if I'm meeting with a client for the first time and this has to get through to them because I could see it's their main obstacle. I say, okay, think of the ego as your conscious and your subconscious, your ego and your id. So you have or we can go old school, good angel, bad angel. Right. I mean, just to put it into really simple terms, you mean well, but again, when you say you're interested in someone, talking about dating, right? Yeah. You got a voice telling you, most likely telling you, kiss that person's ass or do this and that, or dress up really nice, make them want you really bad. And then you'll have them, right? Then say that doesn't work. So you tried to kiss their ass. You tried to buy them, whatever it is, right? You try the nice way of doing it. That doesn't work. And you really want that. There's the ego coming in. Yeah. That's not your heart speaking. Mad. If you're manipulating, if you're contemplating, you're scheming. Right. And it's not going your way. That's your ego, girlfriend, boyfriend. I don't care who you are. That's your ego. Guilt trips. That's ego. Emotional blackmail. Ego. Catholic guilt that the parents, grandparents. Ego. Ego. That's not your heart. And you know it. Yeah. There's a big difference. Yeah. And so I hope I simplified it, but at the same time, I didn't want to oversimplify it because again, people hear ego. I get it all the time. And they're like, what are you talking about? I have no ego. Yes, you do. Even Tony Robbins admits he has ego. Right. And he even says he enjoys fulfilling his ego. Yeah. I'm not like that. I'm not better, but I'm just more spiritually inclined. And I feel like just being aware of it is better than not being aware of it at all and just letting it overtake the way you're thinking without even knowing. Thank you. Thank you. Because even if the person screws you over, lies to you, right? And you're like, oh my God, I let him get away with it or her get away with it. Right. but you can sleep at night.
Yeah.
And the
You're
other
not
thing,
gonna beat yourself up over that.
100%, 100%. Yep. I mean, even if you do, right? Because that's the subconscious mind. You're
always going to, yeah. But you
yeah.
can, like you said, you can sleep at night. It's not gonna, like, you'll realize shit will go on. You can move on.
Yes. The other thing is, the thing that I also get a lot of questioning is like, well, how do you get these, because I'm personally heterosexual, straight, whatever you want to call it. Okay. I don't care. I love the opposite sex. Like, look at it. But at the end of the day, I actually do love men.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. I don't want to think like a man. I love men. There's another angle that I want to take on this book.
Mm-hmm.
I accept men for what they are, and I'm grateful that they exist. Can anybody get a holler for that? You see what I mean? And maybe I was a man in a past life, whether you believe that or not. I also have two brothers that I love. And I also have a father who I was very close to. He passed a couple of years ago, but and my father was not the greatest father or husband, but I had very masculine traits about me.
Me as well. Definitely.
You know what I mean?
I think it's I also have a brother. All my friends from high school, mostly that I stayed close with, were dudes, not the girlfriends. I was never into the drama and stuff. So again, that's like that book trying to put everybody, the title of that book, let's rephrase, trying to put everybody in a little box. But I always get, my guy friends always say, Marissa, you're so chill about everything. You act like a guy. You're like a dude. I love that you fit in with us. That's not that's a great compliment, but that book's telling me to think like a man. I guess I kind of already do. So why are you calling me now?
Yeah.
Does that mean I have to try to act like a lady more? I don't know.
True. But here's the other thing that bothers me about this book. And see, so anybody can now what I'm about to say, I'm really opening up and putting myself out there, vulnerable, easily going to be attacked and judged. But I see there's a difference. I've already let go of my ego. So you can't hurt me, right? Your opinions of me matter nothing to me. Because you know what? While you're giving an opinion, a negative opinion on somebody else, you're draining your energy, bro, sis, whatever.
It's coming right back to you.
Yeah,
literally, it's coming right back to you. That karma, that energy is bouncing right back.
Right. Okay. Again, you don't know about Hercules. I don't even know if I should go down to this one. How about the movie My Fair Lady?
I've never seen it.
Oh,
I'm younger than you.
All right. That's another link I'm going to put in the description below. That's a must. Just like you must know about the Holocaust. Okay. These are things you need to experience in a lifetime, right? No, Mozart died hundreds of years ago, but you still benefit from his music today.
Right. Okay.
It's certain things are a must. Okay. This movie, My Fair Lady, is a must.
What's the overall theme? What's the theme of it?
Well, I don't want to ruin the movie. It's a classic. It's very well done. You could pick it apart as far as, misogynist, this and that, but it's back in the day, our grandparents, especially, right? The other generations, they love to remember how you would, if you see an old movie, they show you somebody they're kissing, but then they show you the next scene that they're getting out of bed. So you just assume you deduct that they had great sex.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So I love that they did it a lot in movies back in the day where you had to look deeper. You couldn't just judge, oh, that's racist, or oh, that's prejudice, or this. Dude, look at the messaging. You're missing it, bro. The devil's in the details, right? So the My Fair Lady was a girl played by Audrey Hepburn that she was, I don't know, a street lady, peasant, ghetto, again, and that's in the turn of the century, right? Late 18, early 1900s. So it's period based. It's a great, I think it was also a Broadway show. I mean, it's just a great story, great play. Don't try to judge it, dicing it in that sense. See what was the point? And the point was, when I was growing up, it was a big movie, although it came out in the 60s. It was still very popular. Everybody always watched it. And I secretly was obsessed with the movie. Nobody knew because I was a tomboy. So My Fair Lady, right?
Yeah.
I was obsessed with her sense of, even if she was, uneducated and didn't speak well and it was filthy and dirty from the streets, she had pride. She had love for herself. She had stamina. She had a warrior in her. Okay.
Right.
So it's a typical, it's very much that underdog story, but oh my God.
And especially coming from a woman in that time period. I mean, movies, I have like a film background, and I took a whole class on women in film and how women rarely got a main role. Movies are normally about the man, and the little side project is that woman character always trying to be the relationship to the man. So that's cool that even back then there's movies about this underdog of a woman coming up.
Don't get me wrong. The professor, I don't want to ruin it. I'm telling you, you got to watch it. But the only reason I'm mentioning this movie, because I really want, matter of fact, that's definitely what you should come back for another podcast and we'll talk about that movie. Like we're talking, like breaking down this book. I'm not kidding you. You're going to love me for this. Trust me.
Yeah,
You're going to love me for this.
And I'll pick it apart. So
please.
Of my film background and shit. Oh my God. Yeah.
And then again, since we're different generations, this is what I love about us on the podcast is that loving it. Love you, loving it. And I think at the end of the day as well, I think my favorite thing about you is your energy.
Oh,
you have a loving energy. Like, and we can disagree, but we don't get defensive. Anyway, go back to the movie. So at the end of the point, I was told my nickname was the human beast, bestia humana in Spanish. So everything I touched turned to shit. This is what I heard every single day, 5, 10, 20 times a day, everything since I can remember.
Everybody or by?
Yeah, specifically my mom, but everybody else supported it and like, oh my God, mom's right. You're fucking terrorist. I mean, but that's siblings, again, power trips, right? Like, oh, we don't want you.
That ego.
And, children also, especially siblings, they're always, even on a subconscious level, fighting for the attention of the parents.
Oh yeah.
And I'm one of 6.
What were you like fourth. In the middle or?
I'm the 4th of 6. Yep. Good question. Cause I was that's relevant. So here going to this movie, I secretly, because I was a kid, meaning a normal human, I did want to please my parents. I didn't want to be this tomboy beast. I did still have a girl in me, but so I thought, okay. So I related to her because of what she struggled and how she suffered and how she did everything she could to become a lady, which was awesome because at the end she was trained to act. I mean, the movie's brilliant.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I cried with her during the movie. And even if I watch it to this day, I still like get passionate and I cry and I laugh and I love. And by the way, because it's a love story at the end of the day. And you're never going to believe this, but like, I'd be into this guy too. Wait till you see this movie, dude. It's just so good. And anyway, but that's the thing, this whole act like a lady and here, My Fair Lady. So this whole, then my older brother said to me years ago, ladies shouldn't curse. Okay. You're too pretty. You're too smart. You're too, well-educated to talk like that. I'm like, again, here's a man telling me how to act like a lady.
Yeah.
And that was way before this book. Cause that was when I lost everything. I lost my mind. Oh, the book I was talking about, going back to the ego. It's from C.S. Lewis called A Grievance Observed. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, like I said, not everybody loves the same. It takes that much love and effort to feel the pain of the loss, whether it's losing a game because you've put so many months and years into the game, sweat.
That was a good analogy. Yeah.
You see what I mean? So it's not about, oh, we were perfect for each other and we dated, or we were together 5 years and we had 2 kids. That doesn't mean shit to me.
No. Yeah.
Because if you truly loved each other, there's no way you can hate each other. And even when they say that there's a thin line, and there really is, between love and hate. But on top of it, if it's the parent, I mean, again, we don't know, right? If it's an abusive partner, right? They beat the shit out of you, for example. Okay, I get it. You gotta get out and get away, self-perseverance.
Right.
But for the most part, people argue and fight, and that's ego. Oh, I want that. No, I deserve that.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like, when people say, going back to what I was saying, well, how come, pretty much every boyfriend, lover you've had, they're still friends with you. Some of them never stop talking to you, or they still come around, they still want you back, or they come back 20 years later and they want you back. Why do you think that is? And everyone's like, this is the typical answer that I get. Not even answer. This is people that even judge me without even asking me. And they're like, was your thing made out of gold or something? Like, what you got? Like, you must be really good in bed. I get that all the time. And this is both sides, men or women.
Oh,
they really were like, damn.
That's surprising to me that's the answer that most people give.
Yep. Every single time.
Not, oh, you must be a really good person.
Thanks.
You must put out really good energy. Nope. Just go right. Yeah. Okay.
And in fact, if I've ever said I love you once, I can't even conceive that just because it didn't work out for whatever reason, sometimes you just turned me off. Sometimes you just farted too many times and I got over it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just lazy as shit. Made me dry because that's not sexy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I got 1,000 reasons for you're not good enough or this isn't good enough for me. Because that's the other thing is when you break up, people get angry because they take it personal. But it's not personal. Do you want me to lie to you? Do you want me to pretend I'm happy?
Yeah.
Is that what you really want? No, you don't. You don't want that.
Because it's just going to hurt in the end either way. Yeah.
Life is short, man. And then people are like, how come you're always in a good mood? Well, let me guess. Because I don't put up with your shit.
I just push all the negativity away. Don't got time for that bullshit.
But okay. So I know I went to 3 different tangents, right? So we went like ego, the lady, the movie, but yet secretly I wanted to be this lady, or at least I was deep down. My goal was when I grow up, I'm going to be that lady. And it's funny, except look, I'm getting teary-eyed just thinking about it, because when people see me all dressed up in my makeup and I do my events or I do a speaking engagement and people are like, look at her. I mean, they have no idea
that you ever struggled with any of that. Yeah.
And it's not that I put the makeup on to be fake. I had to learn to embrace being a woman. I actually couldn't stand women.
Yeah.
Because they were catty and petty and judgmental. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna hang out with the dudes, bro. Like, these guys are funny as shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Same.
Look,
I don't want to wear all the
I'm so used to crying. I got a tissue ready to go.
I made you cry. I did good, I think.
Yo, what's right. That's the other thing I kept getting. Oh, your mouth will be the death of you. You're so loud. Oh my God. I mean, they would take me to the doctor to see if I was deaf. I mean, it was horrible.
Jesus.
And then they called me a rebel without a cause. Oh, she just wants to be a rebel. She just wants to. No, I was standing up for my rights, my feelings, my gut, my soul.
Yeah, you're protecting your energy.
And then they were like, you're a masochist. You love pain. Because I wouldn't shut up. And I'm like, but if you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I was like a lawyer in court. Like, no, I will not give up.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I gravitate and love movies like Braveheart. Don't tell me you haven't seen Braveheart.
I'm so bad with movies.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. Listen, I got a list that I've actually made for my own clients.
Okay. Give it to me.
I'm going to give it to you because you have to. It's not about like, and that's the other thing. I'm glad we're having this conversation because the other thing I also see, especially on YouTube, but just, I guess, in podcasting in general, what's most of the podcasts? Commentaries of current events, right? Trending topics and stuff like that. So let's talk about the last Spider-Man that came out. And I'm like, how many Spider-Mans? Yeah, and I love Marvel. I'm
losing track. There's a black one, then a red one, a red and blue one. That's how I know the difference. Who knows?
They're not original. They're just not original, though.
Making them though. People keep spending their money to go see them.
Well, think about it too. If you have nothing else to like when it comes out, if there's no other movie next to it that's better, then of course it's going to keep selling out.
And you know, that's a lot of shit ton of money goes into people who are distributing it, so they know, oh, no other movies are going to come out this week. This seems like a great week for us. Like, especially no competing movie, like no other superhero movie or like action based movie, you know?
Right.
All that talk goes into that.
Not to change the subject, but I just noticed. Well, I noticed it earlier, but it really popped out. You dyed your hair like purplish magenta, like the tips.
Yeah.
I
So
see. I don't know if it's the camera or is that the color or is it purple?
Is actually, it's like the front pieces. So I dyed my hair. I haven't been to the hair salon in years. I do my own hair, but I bleached the front pieces probably like a year ago, and now like it washes out all the time. But I have this conditioner that's like pigmented, like red, and every time, like every 2 weeks or so, I'll use that conditioner, and it turns like the blonde pieces pink. It's pretty fun.
Wow, I really like it.
Thank you. But
No,
yeah,
I
the
really
underneath is like regular. It doesn't like stick on that, but
can you believe it's been an hour?
No. Feels like 20 minutes.
So you're the boss. As a guest, you're my boss. And was there any unfinished statements, points that we made? Do you think, should we loop back around, or how do you feel? Or did I confuse you? Or are you like, oh my God, what's going to happen when we hang up today? What's going to happen when you go? What do you think?
I'm going to want to do another one.
Oh shit.
Yeah, this was fun.
Man.
I feel like we both talk a lot, so I feel like we covered a shit ton of topics, but also at the same time, I feel like we covered like 3 points. So I don't know how I feel.
What are we going to do about this? Well, you know what I think? I think that it was good that we did go like talk about the ego a little bit and about women and men, because I think that reiterates why did you buy the book? Why I bought the book, which is different reasons.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that we have to go forward with this. I think there should be like a part 2, part 3, and that maybe we do have to read this freaking book.
Maybe.
And like I said, I wrote notes, but if you haven't gone through it, or should we leave it out to the audience to leave us comments to see if they want us to,
maybe like a specific chapter we can,
like, should we read it?
Like, I feel like I bought it so I could read it. So like if someone can give me a reason to read it, please. Okay,
I wrote notes. This is from 2009.
Yeah,
but
I would definitely like to read it. There's also like questions in here too.
Oh, that's for him. That makes me even more pissed off. Don't even. But that's great. That again. Like, who is this guy?
My boyfriend. Hey, here.
He's Dr. Phil over here.
For you.
Yeah. Is it okay to interrupt his day at work
and dissect you? Like,
look at the first question I just pulled out at the end of the book. It says,
"What is it?
Is it okay to interrupt his day at work to talk?" Again, the woman asking.
Is it okay?
Steve.
Stop.
If you and Steve Harvey, the God Almighty over here. If you're calling to say, I have a special surprise for when you get home, that's a good interruption. But if it's a call to talk about petty problems, not a good interruption.
Petty problems. What defines as a petty problem? Any problem a woman has, or a petty problem?
See, dude. And again, we're not attacking this, right? Like, this is what I love about us, that we're not attacking at all why men cheat. Okay, I can't wait to get in that chapter. So here's the question. Should we just continue, like, say the next podcast, we just talk about one chapter and then next one, or do we read it and then come back with our highlights?
I feel like we should maybe like assign like a chapter or 2 and then go like dissect that chapter maybe, and then like vaguely, and then go into like the deep overall theme, and then talk like kind of how we did this one, like bounce through a couple topics that chapter brings up. You can do something like that.
All right. Well, when I post this, we'll also read the comments. I'll share the, we'll make sure that we're on the comments. I do answer all comments.
And I don't want to bore people too. So if this book is boring,
I think, dude, I just think that you and I could just literally be like, okay, who's going to read chapter 1 today? Right. And we read it and then we cut it up.
Yeah.
Maybe definitely. The next, I don't know.
And I want like a reason to read this. I really do. So
that's the thing. Okay, so you're saying read 2 to 3 chapters on our own and then come rebuttal. We're not going to read the chapter in the podcast.
Yeah, I think
Right?
we should
Okay, I just want to clarify.
Read it depending on how long the chapters are, like 1 to 2 to 3, depending on how much they cover and shit. And then we'll have this podcast and talk about it.
All right. So in
kind
this,
of like a book club.
Yeah, that's. I like that, but I really do think that we should. I just think the general that you and I both have of this book, even like the girl that reviewed it on her YouTube channel.
Mhm.
I don't remember her name. Like I said, I just found it today.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was gonna write a book.
Yeah.
With my points against every little point in this book. So this would be kind of cool to kind of make it into this. The podcast is also a vlog.
Also, yeah, and getting 2 generational perspectives is probably really cool too.
Yeah. So,
because I personally don't have much obvious like love experience. I'm 23 years old, but I'm sure you have a lot more experience than I do in that realm. But
yeah,
it'd be cool to see both of our takes on it.
Yeah, I definitely want to know your take. Big time.
Yeah.
So what do we say if we go 5 chapters for the next meeting?
Okay.
Because I don't think they're
not
not many.
that long.
They're not that exactly. Because I don't think we need to have like 6 podcasts about this freaking book.
Yeah,
I think in 2 or 3 podcasts, like part 1, part 2.
Yeah, there's like 20. Yeah, there's 20 chapters, so like 5 each. Yeah, that'll work.
I'm telling you, and I'm not reading it because I want to read it. I'm going to read it to make notes. So if you read it, you don't have to make notes. It's up to you.
I'll probably highlight stuff and all that goodness.
Yeah, to me,
Mama's Boys. Oh, I can't wait to get to that one. All the mommy issues.
Man, I definitely have a pattern where I end up with mama boys. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and I don't do it on purpose. I try to do the opposite. I'm like, tell me you don't live with your mother.
Yeah. What's your relationship with her, please? Tell me now.
Well, of course, because I do choose men, or if whoever chooses me. I mean, one of the things that is a must for me to date you is that you must be respectful and love your mother.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me too.
To me,
because if you're not treating your mother with respect, then how are you gonna treat me? And like kids down the line, how are you gonna tell them to treat me if you didn't respect your mother? You're gonna train them to not respect me, which is horrible.
Exactly.
You gotta think like that. I don't know. Yeah,
And what about your love for the esoteric or astrology? Am I making that up?
No, I'm into it. I do like tarot cards and all that kind of stuff. I'm not one of those people who are gonna be like, oh my god, hi, my name is Marissa, what's your sign? Like I'm not gonna get right into it. But if I do pick up little personality traits from you, I'm gonna be like, oh, you're probably like a Gemini, right? Like I don't know, I just like that. I like picking people apart, trying to get in their head, figuring them out. We all are kind of the same but different, so I love dissecting people. It's fun.
One last question. Tell me, what do you find yourself doing the most when you're not getting paid? What's your like secret indulgence? Like your hobby, your interest? Like, I don't know, cooking? Like you're always watching hours and hours of the Food Network channel or some shit?
I feel like watching TV shows, I spend a lot of time doing. Also just like YouTube. And there's a lot of things I do for photography that I don't get paid for. Like, I don't know, just searching up new equipment and like playing with my equipment and stuff like that. Also like painting, I do a lot. Just like go sit outside and paint or draw or something. Even though I'm not great at it, I just feel like it's a good little side thing to do just for your mind to like go, kind of like a meditation thing.
You're a true artist.
Yeah.
You're a true artist. Yeah, I love it. Definitely. So with that being said, I can't wait to see you in the next one.
Get into it.
All right.
All right, cool.
Have a great day.
I will. You too.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you for having me.
It was awesome. You're the best.
Bye.
Much love. Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what you watch, smash that like button and make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on future videos.